I sure am glad you told me earthquakes are a myth, Joy. Otherwise, I'd be terrified right now.
Yeah.
Just gaslight the fear. Yeah, they're totally not a thing. Yeah.
Hi, we are anxiety specialists, and we're going to be doing a reaction video to the Inside Out, but specifically to the character of Fear, because we're anxiety specialists. I'm Becky Burrows. I've been through anxiety myself and come out the other side, and I love to share that journey with people.
And I'm Michael Burrows, and I've studied clinical psychology, and I help people work through their anxiety.
Fantastic. Let's go.
Very nice. Okay, looks like you got this. Very good. Oh, that's sharp turn. Ah, look out!
That's Fear. He's really good at keeping Riley safe.
Easy, huh? Hi, back! Oh, we're good. We're good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And we're back.
Big reaction there.
Yeah. So that's kind of like a reaction to something brand new. So our fear response often will, when we come across something that we're new to, uncertain of, and I guess she was worried about tripping over herself. It's funny that she didn't conceptualize that she was dragging something behind her.
Yes. Yep. Easily not seen. It takes a while for children to actually develop even peripheral vision to be able to detect stuff like that. So, yes, so big reaction from Fear, and then looks like a purple fear memory got stored there as well.
Yeah, and the characters are going, oh, good job, you saved our life.
Yes, so it's portrayed as Fear being able to help us stay safe, which it can do. Where it gets restrictive is where it overestimates the threat.
Cool.
All right.
I sure am glad you told me earthquakes are a myth, Joy. Otherwise, I'd be terrified right now.
Yeah.
Just gaslight the fear. Yeah, they're totally not a thing. Yeah.
It's kind of like lying to Fear so that Fear doesn't freak out.
Yes.
Does that backfire when you do that?
Well, it can do. I mean, this is an odd example in that they're different characters in that, but I mean, our brain is going to know that earthquakes exist, obviously, but we can be not actively thinking about something like that, and then that mean that it's not activating our amygdala where our fear response is generated.
What if I knew you were afraid of spiders,
right? And
I told you that there were no spiders in this house, even though I know that there are spiders.
Right. So where it would backfire is when I saw a spider. And I was expecting no spiders. So that might activate a bit more of a shock response.
And possibly break trust between us.
That as well. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
What? Let's review the top 5 daydreams.
Ooh, that looks safe.
Nice.
Oh, this will be great for Riley. Oh, no. This one.
Joy, for the last time, she cannot live in a cookie.
That's the one. It comes with a dragon.
Ooh, that looks safe. Yeah, so the character of Fear is looking for things that are safe. He's happy when things are safe, and is looking out for that. And our amygdala is doing that as well. It's scanning all of our sensory data, what we see, what we smell, all of that, and going, safe, dangerous, safe, dangerous. So it's a good portrayal of that, really.
Very clear to see what Fear's highest priority is. Safety. Yeah.
Smells like something died in here.
Can you die from moving?
Can you die from moving?
Yep, so there's an example of Fear catastrophizing, right? Yeah. Dying from moving seems rather extreme.
But that's kind of what our fear does. It's like when we have these responses that just feel completely out of proportion, it's because our fear, our midbrain is reacting as if this could kill us.
Yeah.
It's making that assessment. Could I die from this?
Yes, and we often describe that feeling as like feeling like I could die, because it generates that.
Guys, you're overreacting. Nobody is dying.
A dead mouse!
Great.
I'm gonna be
The
sick.
house is dead. What are we gonna do? We're gonna get rabies. Get off of me!
Hey. All through the drive, Dad talked about how cool our new room is.
I love how she like fire extinguishers.
You have a fire extinguisher in your brain?
Oh dear. But
Maybe that's like beta blockers.
Oh, maybe.
So our brain produces those and it calms things down.
Calm down the fear. Or the whole, okay, baby.
Yeah. Sudden reactions from fear there. And it can feel really sudden when our adrenaline's just like boom. Yeah. When we think of something that could go wrong, could happen, like rabies.
And it's that catastrophizing.
Yeah.
You see a dead mouse,
Yes.
and then instantly it's like, I could get this disease, rabbit disease.
Yes.
From it.
Yes. Yeah. Hopefully dead mice don't bite.
Yeah.
Let's go check it out.
It's gonna be great. Yes. No.
I'm starting to envy the dead mouse.
Get out the rubber ball. We're in solitary confinement.
Riley can't live here.
He's right.
It's the worst.
Really bad.
It's absolutely the worst.
This house
It's
stinks.
the worst place I've ever been in my entire life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the worst. The van is lost. I've been losing.
Yesterday.
The van is lost.
Hmm.
The van is lost. It's the worst day ever.
That's what we said.
Yeah, that's what Thea just said.
Mm.
And it's, again, like, that language is really interesting because it's the worst day ever.
Right. Yeah.
What's
The black and white or all or
Yeah.
nothing thinking. It's a mistake our amygdala sometimes makes when it's trying to speed things up, make some quick decisions to keep us safe, because the faster we make calls, the faster we can dodge danger. But it can mean that we oversimplify things. And so then there's, the van is lost or that the day is ruined entirely. Yeah.
And it's the worst day ever.
Yeah.
And I think also when we say things like that, often logically we know it's not literally the worst day ever, but it is kind of a way of our language expressing how we're feeling. Like it feels like the worst day ever because you're so scared and you're really struggling. But when we use that type of language, it has a feedback loop where we say worst day ever, and then it kind of feeds into that cycle.
It makes it more intense.
Exactly. Rather than feeling like if you express your emotions like that and verbalize it like that, that maybe it'll make you feel better if people understand it. Unfortunately, it can have a bit of a cycle. So it's usually more helpful to use, even if you say something like that, just take a moment to step back and say, okay, it's not the worst day ever, but it's a really awful day today. Or, I'm having a really hard time. It's okay to use that sort of language, but those all or nothing things can just kind of feed the cycle of unhelpful.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Out the car window.
Definitely not when Dad was singing.
Wearing a seatbelt.
Oh, what about the time with the dinosaur?
I love that. It's like, what was your favorite time today?
It's when we were safe.
I felt safe with the seatbelt.
Seatbelts can have that kind of snug feeling.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because there's certain things we do to keep safe. The thing with seatbelts though is there's these safety behaviours, things we do to keep ourselves safe. Seatbelt, actually has some preventative sort of safety things, but there's things we do like having somebody with us when we go somewhere if we're scared of going places by ourselves, or you always give an example of wearing your lucky socks when you go flying, and the plane didn't crash, so it must have been because I was wearing my lucky socks. Some of that sort of almost superstitious behaviours that can stop us from getting gains when we actually go out and do experiences.
Because the amygdala thinks it was due to the socks, not through actually being safe. So we still think it's dangerous.
It's really interesting with some safety measures we take as human beings, like wearing a seatbelt, or some safety measures in cars. Sometimes it can actually make us drive more dangerously because we feel safer.
Yeah, there's research that shows that when people buy a car that they know has a great safety rating, that they don't drive as safe. I'm looking at you Volvo drivers now. Whereas actually what promoted on the safety test course, what promoted the safest driving was when they put a metal spike in the middle of the steering wheel. Then people drove real safe.
Yeah, they would. Yeah.
Because there's a very salient danger that they can see right there in front of them.
It's a very curious phenomenon because it also happens with cyclists. People drive closer to cyclists that are more visible, like
wearing the fluoro, or they look more like advanced cyclists. Whereas people with like billowy skirts or big handlebar bikes, or they kind of they don't look as stable, people will give them a lot more space.
Because I guess their fear response is kicking in and taking measures to make sure they're safe. Whereas they go, oh, it's safe, must ignore. But yeah. Just interesting.
Did you hear Dad? He sounded really upset.
That did you hear Dad? He seems really upset. How kids have fears and anxieties about how their parents are doing, that it's not just, that is a very significant part of their world.
Yeah.
And because their parents are their support system, they're everything, it's hugely impacts them when their parents are struggling.
Yeah.
You can see that.
Yeah. Well, it's the support system.
And I guess on a deeper level, when children aren't able to fend for themselves, there is that kind of feeling of life-threatening. If your parents aren't okay, will you survive?
It's very similar to with social anxiety, where which is arguably the most common kind of anxiety. We're all somewhat hardwired to try and stay a part of the group, part of the community, not get kicked out. And our brain's calculating, would this get me kicked out? What about that? Because we don't survive well outside of that. So even more so with children and their parents, where our midbrain's going to be thinking, they're the ones keeping us alive. We die without them. And so it can feel a bit like that.
Yeah, so it can add that extra stress.
What was that? Was it a bear? It's a bear!
There are no bears in San Francisco.
I saw a really hairy guy. He looked like a bear.
Oh, I'm so jumpy. My nerves are shot.
Ew, I don't want to hear about
Anxiety's nerves are shot?
I like that. I like, this is a bear. This is a bear.
Yeah, first thought is a bear. Yeah.
It really shows how irrational our fear can be. It's the first thing our fear comes to isn't necessarily a logical conclusion. And sometimes when we're working with people and we're going, what are you afraid of? They're like, well, it can't be this because it's not very logical. But that's not how the brain works.
No, and it's like, forget logical. What does it feel like your brain's thinking is going to happen there? Yeah.
Then that's probably the prediction you have.
Yeah, then you get the real answers. Because once you know what your brain's thinking will happen, what it's predicting, then you can work on it.
Yeah. If you just dismiss it as that's illogical, so it's unlikely that that's what I'm afraid of, then you don't get the chance to actually work through a process of challenging that. And that challenge can really significantly bring the anxiety down.
your nerves.
I'll tell you what it is. This move has been a bust.
That's what I've been telling you guys. There are at least 37 things for Riley to be scared of right now.
The smell alone is enough to make her gag.
So many things.
So many things.
And he's come up with all of them.
I love how specific he says 37. It's like, I guess it's that quick, like, safe, not safe, safe, not safe, safe, not safe in the brain.
Well, but also that's demonstrating a worry process where we try and out-predict. We try and predict things so that we can either stay safe, avoid them, or take some measures to make it safer. And we're trying to think of those things. When that's within the realms of likely, then it can be somewhat helpful. But with 37 things, it's likely that he's going into catastrophizing, going into the really unlikely, like 0.00% chance things, which then we're spending a lot of time on that, and we're also generating a lot of adrenaline about that when we don't need it, which is essentially what anxiety is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and if you just are constantly coming up with these predictions and like worrying about all the possible things that might happen, it takes up a lot of brain space, and it's really important to learn the process to be able to quiet that down. And it's not just by telling it to shut up. It's about giving it an opportunity at a set time, and something we teach, but it's really important to do that so that it's not just kind of constantly tuning.
Can't believe Mom and Dad moved us here.
Look, I get it. You guys have concerns, but we've been through worse.
Joy, there's absolutely no reason for Riley to be happy right now. Let us handle it.
I say we skip school tomorrow and lock ourselves in the bedroom.
The safe option.
Well, it's really the avoidance say. It's like, I feel scared, so like hide, don't go, avoid.
Yeah, that's
classic
amygdala.
No clean clothes mean no one should see us.
We could cry until we can't breathe.
We should lock the door and scream that curse word we know. It's a good one.
Now hold on. Look, we all have our off days. Fear. I need a list of all the possible negative outcomes on the first day at a new school.
Way ahead of you there. Does anyone know how to spell meteor?
Disgust. Make sure...
Again, catastrophizing. Meteor.
Oh my gosh. Well, I like that Joy's like, okay, let's get ready. And he's like, okay, come up with these ideas. And Fear's like, I've been working on it all night. And that's the thing, like often overnight, especially if you wake in the middle of the night, often that's when those thoughts can kind of
Yes.
start.
Well, it won't be generating that list while you sleep. During your sleep, you can have nightmares or frightening dreams where your brain's processing that fear that you weren't processing during the day. But it's not going to be worrying exactly. That's more of a conscious process. But if, like Vicky said, if you wake up during the night, game's on.
And that's where it's so important to write them down. Oh, we have a baby now. This video is now going to include a baby. And this is Gilson. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Wait, what?
Almost finished with the potential disasters, where scenario is either quicksand, spontaneous combustion, or getting called on by the teacher. So as long as none of those happen...
Okay, everybody. We have a new student in class today.
Are you kidding me? Out of the gates? This is not happening!
Riley, would you like to tell us something about yourself?
No! Pretend we can't speak English.
Don't worry, I got this.
I'm not sure that would work.
Yeah, pretend we don't speak English. I think it's really interesting. He's got that huge stack.
Yes, it's a
So
big stack.
That's starting to look like a generalized anxiety sort of setup where they've just got lots and lots of.
Oh, well, generalized anxiety is about lots of different subjects. But you could generate a lot of fears about one topic.
Okay.
But given the range of items that he talked about, that sounds more generalized,
Yeah,
right? Because there was one social one, and then there were some other
Natural disaster.
natural disaster type
Quicksand.
ones. Quicksand, yes. Likely at school. Yeah, that one's kind of that was a wild card one. Yeah.
Oh dear. I think sometimes though, when we feel such heightened anxiety about something, our brains can come up with these kind of crazy things that could happen. That
And
are
first day at school.
so unlikely, but it's kind of almost like we come up with things to reflect how afraid we are.
Well, we can have an emotional reasoning or reverse reasoning process where we feel anxious and then the brain tries to search for what is the danger that's making us anxious and then comes up with things post hoc.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. With my panic side of things, I would feel these really intense emotions and feelings and sensations in my body. And I'd be like, what's wrong? Something's wrong. Something must be going wrong. There must be a reason I feel like this. And then I'd start listing all the not great things in my life to like try and figure out what, and that would just make it so much worse. It's just like, okay, not helpful process. All right.
Oh no, we're crying at school!
What? Sadness, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, some social anxiety there?
Yes. Yeah. Social anxiety, afraid of the crying at school because of, I'd assume because of the social repercussions that he's seeing would happen due to that, the judgment. And if you follow social anxiety through far enough in the thought process, then it goes rejection or ostracization and then dying alone in the wilderness.
Yeah, and that's why it does that massive response.
Yeah, so it's the equivalent of the quicksand. Get stuck into quicksand, suffocate, die.
Yeah, and I think that sometimes it's good to realize that there's that next step. Otherwise, it's like, why am I just so scared of like this happening?
And often you got to take your best guess to begin with until you start gaining those insights.
Guys, here, you pretend to be Joy.
Won't it be great to be back out on the ice?
Oh yeah, that sounds fantastic.
What was that? That wasn't anything like Joy.
Because I'm not Joy?
Yeah, no kidding.
This is interesting. Like for me, I interpret that as like the social anxiety side of things when you're talking to people and trying to interact and you're like trying to be a certain way and appear a certain way. And it gets quite clunky when you like try be this way while you say the thing rather than just focusing on the other person and the conversation rather than like how I'm coming across.
Yes, presentation management. And so trying to manage that, it takes up a lot of brain space. And then we start worrying, or often people start worrying that, and I've experienced this before, that then, you don't have enough brain space for other stuff. And you're like, oh no, I'm not thinking of stuff to say and I'm terrible at this and all that. And it's because the brain space is already being taken up. So there isn't really a lot of capacity left. It takes a lot to be going, okay, what are they thinking about me? What are they seeing right now? How am I standing? What's my face doing? What's each individual muscle doing? I don't think it's quite right. It's meant to be like this. All of that.
And it ends up being, because it's you naturally respond in certain ways when you're focused on the conversation things. You do become a little bit more awkward, but it's not generally as awkward as you think.
Oh, no. Generally not even noticeable to most people. But we think it's extremely noticeable. Yeah. Because we're inside ourselves, we can feel it and think the thoughts that we think other people might be able to detect.
Did you guys
Her
pick up
primary
on that?
emotion seems to be sadness.
He's probing us.
I'm done. You pretend to be Joy.
What? Okay.
What's Fia gonna do?
It was fine, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, very smooth.
Oh, I don't know.
Right.
As a response.
Yes, it's a protective. It's a protective one, right? If you say I don't know, then maybe that'll be the end of that, and you got away without looking foolish.
And I think also sometimes I get into this habit of like I get panicked, I get like anxious or whatever, and I go I don't know, and it's almost like telling your brain like there's that feedback loop also when you use that your brain can like, oh, we don't know this, we'll shut off, we're not even going to look for that information. So I just find that phrase unhelpful. Actually to use for myself.
Yes,
try not to say that at all as much as I possibly can. Sometimes I say it to my 3-year-old because
of all the why questions.
Gets to a point of like, I don't know what that is actually, but I try not to say that because it does cause a bit of a block.
What we've found really helpful is going, if I did know, what would be the answer, or what would it be? And that unblocks it quite well.
Hard to do in a classroom if you're answering a teacher or
oh sure, those are high pressure situations.
But that's quite a fair response.
Smooth. That was just like Joy.
Something is definitely going on.
Disgust is almost like our self-negativity.
Like this new attitude. Oh, I'll show you attitude.
No. Stay happy.
What is your problem? Just leave me alone.
Stay happy.
Stay happy. You're trying to be a certain way, and I like that anger comes in, and it's another side of fear though. Anger.
Yes, that's the fight response.
So
got fight or flight. When we feel blocked, stuck, usually by another person in the modern world, sometimes ourselves, then we get the fight response to attack said person, subdue them, get them out of the way, and then we're free to be able to escape, engage in flight again.
Got this new girl on the team. She's so cool.
She did not just say that.
A new girl? Meg has a new friend already?
Hey, stay happy. We do not want to lose any more. Luck isn't going to help us now. If she tries to use Hockey Island, it's going down.
Which is why I've recalled every hockey memory I can think of. One of these has got to work in place of the core memory.
Try everything.
But also again that overthinking and like filling your heads up with worried thoughts about like, okay, I've got to think of all the things I know about it. This
and try your absolute hardest, get it perfect, that kind of thing.
Reminds me actually of tests.
Right.
Like trying to like recall everything all at the same time rather than getting to a place where it's just more of a natural flow. Yeah.
She's about to play.
Hurry!
We did it, gang! It's working! Oh!
Change it up!
Trying so hard and it ends up making it more awkward.
It's interesting there where fear is getting in the way and trying to do it right and like and it's making it even more difficult to perform. Actually, that anxiety is getting in the way of her performance.
And we're often kind of vaguely aware that if we could think less, like not overthink is often how we kind of put it, or be more casual, relaxed, that kind of thing, that it would be smoother and we'd be able to be like that other person who just does it so smoothly, and we don't feel like we can risk running that strategy, and it can take some practice and it can take certain skills to make that work, but it is possible to get into that.
It's like we don't learn anything.
Let's pick it up out there!
That's it! No, breathe, find your happy place.
Why don't we quit standing around and do something?
Like what, genius?
Like quitting. That's what I'm doing. Sure, it's the coward's way out, but this coward's gonna survive.
Emotions can't quit, genius. Ugh.
And there's Flight hard at work trying to escape.
Yeah, it's like, I'm quitting, but by quitting, I survive. And that's interesting because that's again that catastrophization that if you continue on with this thing, you're gonna die. You know.
Which is kind of like, there's a bit of an Inception kind of thing in here because the emotion is worried that he'll die if it gets worse.
Sometimes it's like, emotions, having emotions. Yeah. But yeah.
What is it?
Oh, nothing. Just the best idea ever.
What?
All the good core memories were made in Minnesota. Ergo, we go back to Minnesota and make more. Ta-da!
Wait. You're saying we run away?
Well, I wouldn't call it that. I'd call it the Happy Core Memory Development Program.
You can't be serious.
Hey, our life was perfect until Mom and Dad decided to move to San Fran Stink Town.
But it's just so drastic.
Need I remind you of how great things were there? Our room, our backyard, our friends.
Triple income.
We'll make you smile.
Did I ask for the commercial? Anyway, it was better. That's my point.
Yeah, Riley was happier in Minnesota.
Wait, hold on. Shouldn't we just sleep on this or something?
Fine. Let's sleep on it. Because, hey, I'm sure jolly, fun-filled times are just around the corner.
I find it interesting because I feel like that's fear being a bit protective. Like, sometimes we can get really worked up about something. And a certain level of caution of like, okay, I'm feeling really angry right now. I want to just like throw it all in. I want to run away. I want to, you know. But having that kind of like, oh, is this the better idea? Maybe I should sleep on it. That's where, and I guess we get some people saying, can you just take my anxiety away completely? I don't want to have any fear, you know. But actually, it has some protective, and in this time, I think it's actually helpful to have that caution, have some caution, rather than just kind of throwing all caution to the wind. It's when it's overactive that it's unhelpful.
Yes. Yeah, it seems a bit more reasonable in this scene.
Script.
Just because joy and sadness are gone, I have to do stupid dream duty.
Okay, how are we gonna wake her up?
Well, she wakes up sometimes when she has a scary dream. We could scare her.
I love when fear's on dream duty, you can anticipate where this is going to go.
Yes. Although I do find it interesting, the whole emotions can feel emotions thing, in that fear is feeling like resentful that he's on dream duty, and in a moment he's going to start feeling bored. So it's like, okay, fear's feeling bored. Okay, right, yep, sure. Yeah. I mean, in order to create a complete character, they actually need to have a range of emotions. So I think that's kind of why. But it is a bit trippy.
Yeah, it's like their predominant feeling is that, but they have elements of the other ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Scare her? No. She's been through enough already.
But Joy.
Sadness, you may know your way around down here, but I know Riley. We're gonna make her so happy she'll wake up with exhilaration. We'll excite her awake.
That's never happened before.
Ooh, Riley loves dogs. Put this on.
I don't think that'll work.
Bing Bong?
Yeah?
Don't let anything happen to these.
Got it.
Add the reality distortion filter. Love it. Remember, play to the camera, everyone. Riley is the camera. Makeup, get out of there. We are on it. 5, 4, 3.
Hello, class. Before we begin today's pop quiz,
Yeah, she is one bad actress.
of your final grade.
I find that like the bad actress, he's not kind of worried, even though it's that same experience that he was scared of during the daytime. I wonder it's when things don't seem that realistic that, you know, it's less scared of that.
Yeah, I mean, probably if we're having fear watch a dream, like we had a fear-toned dream, then even by that stage in the dream, we'd probably be feeling a fair bit of nervousness at the very least.
Introduce our new student, Riley. Would you like to stand up and introduce yourself?
And cue Riley.
My name is Riley Anderson. I'm from Minnesota, and now I live here.
Ew, look, her teeth are falling out.
That's gross.
Teeth falling out. Yeah, I'm used to that one. Let me guess, we have no pants on.
Hey, look, she came to school with no pants
He's
on.
bored
Called
by
it.
it.
Ready?
I don't think this happy thing
Yeah,
is going to
yeah.
work. But if we scare her...
Just follow my lead. Here we go.
Bark, bark, bark! Bark, 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 bark.
Who is that?
What's going on?
You're on. Go. Woo! Let's party. Let's dance. Woo!
Hey, a party.
Bark, 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 bark,
Joy,
bark, bark,
this isn't working.
There we go.
Sadness, what are you doing? Come back here.
It's just a dream. It's just a dream. It's just a dream. They're trying to wake her up. Call security.
Hi, Riley, it's me.
Bing bong.
Bing bong, bing bong.
Seems more confused than afraid.
Sadness, you are ruining this dream. You're scaring her.
But look, it's working.
Oh, they are not part of this dream. Let them.
Stop right there.
Pin away, pin away.
Boo! Pick a plot line.
Ow, careful. Don't squeak. You can't do this. I know people in headquarters.
I don't like it here. It's where they keep Riley's darkest fears.
Broccoli.
The stairs to the basement.
Yeah.
Grandma's vacuum cleaner.
Must have been some trauma with Grandma's vacuum cleaner.
That Grandma's vacuum cleaner sucked something up, or whether just it was the noise of it.
By the way they portrayed it, I'm guessing it's more the second.
How big and noisy it was.
Yeah. Must have been a very young memory.
Yeah.
The train's not running. We still have to wake up Riley.
But how?
Oh no.
Hey, Sadness, did you hear about the party that we're having?
Yeah. Oh, yes, right. Isn't it a birthday party?
Did you say birthday?
And there's gonna be cake and presents
And games and balloons.
Birthday?
Oh, okay. Follow us. Nothing like a good scare.
Keep clowns.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite in to be afraid of clowns at the moment, but like, I mean, afraid of scary clowns is a different thing, right? I mean, that one's made to be scary, right? Like it's not a person dressed up as a clown coming to someone's birthday party. It's the scary portrayal of that, where their eyes are going in different directions and they have no reason.
Yeah, exactly. And there are some people who would have phobias where any sort of clown
absolutely dressed up at all clown-like would activate it. Yeah,
would activate it.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
Yeah,
it's not one of the most common ones though.
Yeah, and a lot of people watching a scary movie with some creepy ass clown in it is going to be.
You're going to feel some fear.
Fear.
That's the point. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll wake you up, right?
Okay, but it's my handwriting.
No, it isn't. Who's the birthday girl?
Now, that's interesting.
Yes.
Because
he passed out.
He passes out.
Yes. Which a lot of people with panic cycles fear will happen, that they'll pass out if they get anxious enough. But it doesn't tend to happen because adrenaline causes your blood pressure to increase. And as blood pressure increases, you've got blood flow going around more easily or more effectively, getting all the way up to the top of your head, even though gravity's pulling against it. And so you're less likely to faint, because fainting causes when low blood pressure means you're not getting enough blood up into your brain, lose enough blood that then you lose consciousness. But when we get anxious, the adrenaline causes blood to recede very quickly from our frontal lobes. And that can feel similar to blood receding from the whole brain.
Do you want to come here for a minute, buddy?
Here we go.
Oh my gosh.
And so people can be like, oh, this is it. This is me fainting. So it can feel similar. It can create those fears.
Mm. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for that.
Come on, let's go!
He did it again.
We were at school, and we were naked, and there was a dog, but the back half was chasing him, and it was a big one.
You idiot! It was a dream. This is ridiculous.
That's that kind of overwhelmed idea that we can get. I mean, sometimes we can get into that kind of state when the anxiety's gone really high. And oftentimes I encounter people being worried that they'll end up in that state. They'll get so anxious that they'll curl up into a ball, especially in front of people. They might activate some social fears.
It can be a bit of a panic cycle.
Can't even get a good night's sleep anymore. Time to take action. Stupid mom and dad, if they hadn't moved us, none of this would have happened. Who's with me?
Indecision.
Yeah, let's do it.
Wait. Hang on, guys. Are we really doing this? I mean, this is serious.
Look, we have no core memories. You want Riley to be happy? Let's get back to Minnesota and make more.
The fight response is what's called an approach emotion. So it helps us to take action, move towards something. Whereas fear, anxiety is an avoidance emotion. So it helps us escape, go away from something. So we've got towards and away. So there you've got anger, the fight response going towards Minnesota.
And the fear response kind of being more resistant to doing something.
Yes, going away from running away.
Oh, this is terrible. Wait, is that someone walking towards us? Yep, let's cross the street. It's Mom. She's onto us.
What do we do?
Where's my bag? Riley needs to get core memories. We keep going.
I don't think you got it, but when he's doing he says, "Oh, that's the stuff." So some people will use breathing exercises when they feel anxious.
Well, and the paper bag technique is an old one, usually for panic attacks, where the buildup of carbon dioxide in the bag forces your breath rate to slow, and then it forces you to do a slow breathing exercise.
Yeah. So it can have, but breathing exercises can be amazing for anxiety. The difficulty is when they become a safety behavior.
Yes,
and
which is when they become a safety behavior when we fear anxiety. So when we fear if this anxiety gets any higher, then any number of things happen that our brain's afraid of. Then we go, I've got to calm this down. And then if we try and do some sort of relaxation or a breathing technique, then we can be like, oh, phew, I got it down. Like that was so close, I almost died, or that kind of thing. And it maintains the threat.
Which is interesting because one of the things that I did when I was like working on my panic was actually breathe in, not doing a relaxation breathing thing to increase, escalate it to show myself that actually even if the panic went higher, that I would still be okay.
Still be safe.
Yeah, but you work up to that.
Oh no, it's Mom again. What do we do?
This is madness! He shouldn't run away!
Let's get this idea out of her head.
So, looks like the breathing exercise didn't work quite.
yes. Things went too high, and it stopped being effective, which can happen. It's hard to do that because, like I said earlier, blood recedes from your frontal lobes. So all of that more kind of human thinking that we can do, where we can manage our thoughts and anxiety and that kind of thing, that all goes out the window. And also our concentration, our ability to concentrate goes with it. And so being able to concentrate on carrying out a breathing exercise can end up not working at those high levels.
Yeah. And that's why it's good, rather than trying to manage it in the moment, is having a strategy for getting it down and sort of
bring it down overall.
Yeah.
So it's not getting that high.
Yeah. It's not just firefighting when it pops up. It's having an approach that means that it doesn't get as high in the first place.
Oh, great.
What do you mean it's stuck? What is this?
Trying to do everything they can to get her back online.
How do we
Shutting
stop
her.
it?
I got it. Make her feel scared. That'll make her change her mind.
Brilliant!
I know it's brilliant. Do it.
Nothing's working. What? Why isn't it working?
Let me try.
Hey, you broke it.
No, I didn't.
Let me do it. Get out of here.
Guys, we can't make Riley feel anything.
So here we've got a portrayal of depression, where she's not feeling anything, and they can't even make her feel scared. Because we feel scared when we predict the threat is really likely. We get adrenaline to help us escape it. But if it goes even further than that, and we go from the threat is likely to happen to this threat is certain, it's definitely going to happen, right? It's hopeless, right? There's a big situation in our life that is hopeless. It's not going to change. Then putting all the energy into it would be a waste of energy. Yeah. So we actually then go into depressed mood. We depress down the central nervous system, which we shorten to term depression. And it's kind of hibernation to wait out this hopeless situation because there's no point putting any energy into it. So you're seeing the emotions all shut down now.
Having been through that before myself, just not feeling joy, happiness, that side of things, but also just feeling very numb. It's kind of a numbness.
Yeah, the idea is that expending energy on emotions, especially ones like curiosity, excitement, interest, passion, right? That would cause us to go out and blow that energy that we need to conserve until this situation stops being hopeless anymore, right? We need to wait it out. So we need to sleep more. We need to stay in the cave. We need to stay where it's safe-ish and just wait it out, right? And so we see those emotions recede, them all come down, and people talk about, not enjoying things anymore and not feeling that mojo, all of that. And it's because it's holding it in reserve, doesn't want to spend that energy.
And we can't individually numb emotions as well. It's like some emotions we might see as negative and bad, and we might try and shut them off. The difficulty when we do that is which is something that can happen, and we can numb with substances and other things, is that we can numb all emotions. It's not specific.
What have we done?
Sorry. Okay. Bye.
Oh dear. A good one to finish off, a funny one to finish off with.
Yes, yeah, and you can see his fear there is just curled up on the floor like, girl,
don't know what to do.
Yeah, how do we talk to her, right? And so that's a good example of the freeze response, okay? So when the brain's like, okay, the danger hasn't actually happened yet, but it will if, in this case, if we talk. If we speak, we might say something stupid or something wrong, blow it, right? And so we're just going to freeze up because then, we're safer, right? And so that's why we freeze. It's that old kind of, deer in the woods, right? It's in the bushes and the jaguar hasn't seen it yet. And so it freezes, right? And then the jaguar might pass by, right? So that's what the brain hopes for when we freeze. It's hoping that the threat will just pass by. But he's actually missed his opportunity to talk to her there.
And this is the thing, like I had this as growing up as well.
Yeah,
the guy
me
I
too.
had a crush on is that like the only opportunities I ever got to speak to him, I just completely froze up and said like, maybe I can count on my hand the number of words I said to this guy. And it's like, but yeah, very relatable. Very relatable.
Absolutely.
So that was Anxiety Specialist reacting to Inside Out. If you enjoyed this, then like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll be doing more of these types of videos. If you're interested, we're thinking we might do one on the relationship between joy and sadness, because it's really interesting in Inside Out. If you want that, then let us know in the comments. And look forward to seeing you next time.
Right, here you go. Your new expanded console is up and running.
Cool. Upgrade.
Hey. Oh, whoops. Wait, did I just do that?
Hey, guys, what's puberty? I don't know. It's probably not important.
Whoa! I have access to the entire curse word library. This new console is done.
Sorry, I did it again. My bad.